This is the ultimate tempo video guide, and we're going to go over every single function in the tempo video player. So starting off right here, this is where you open tempo. It's opened up. To your left is your game plan folder. This is where tempo is directing you right to a path that you've led it to. That's basically file folders and videos inside your computer that will display right here in a section, so you don't just have everything loaded. You can section it off. Over here is where video will appear, so I can click this video and this is where it's going to appear. Down here are options, and we'll go over that after we go over the menu settings. And down here is your basically timeline of plays that if you have cut it up and time stamped it, you would scroll through. Now to get out of this video, you would press escape, and now you're out. So let's look at the menu first before we really dive into the other options once you start playing the videos. So starting from the bottom, we'll go to settings first. Okay, right here is where you can change your library path. So I talked to you, this is by default, it goes to videos and it creates a file folder tempo library. So if I want to change that, I can change here. It's going to make sure you're not playing directly off your external hard drive, which you can, but there could be performance issues. You just click yes. Now from here, I can go anywhere to my computer. So let's say I was here and wanted to play something from my documents. I could click OK, and that's where it would appear. Okay, if I want to do anywhere else. Now here's the coolest part of tempo. It can play videos directly off your Dropbox and Google Drive. So for example, I go to my Dropbox and I find to where my cut-ups are right here. I click OK. It's now going to appear on my Dropbox videos right here without me having to download anything. It'll just sync. And you know, before you're having to watch those videos on a browser, maybe download them, use another player. Now all your videos appear organized here, and you can get into the .tempo stuff, which will edit all the data to it and cut it up. I'll show you that in a little bit later. Over here, your remote type. You know, you can, if you don't use an Xbox controller, you can change that. So it's not looking for it, or you can have Xbox. Default skip link. So what this is talking about is when you're cutting up, you can use the left arrow and right arrow to skip. You can skip on through, so you can find, you know, this is where the play starts, this is where the play ends. I like mine at 2 seconds. I think the default's 5 seconds. You can edit that right here. And then right here is a simple audio disabled, audio enabled. If you're not wanting to hear any audio, you can disable it right there. So I'm going to click OK. Now watch what happens. The whole library changed because we changed it to the Dropbox. So now when we do this, it will play the videos right off the Dropbox, and whatever synced to it will appear. So, you know, like this one, boom, it appears. It's playing right off Dropbox. So that's pretty cool. We'll get into more of this later. I'm going to use this to display stuff. So, you know, right here, here's the help. It's going to send you to our tutorial pages. So if you don't know the key map controls, you better get here. And these are just some basic controls. I'll go over a few of those later. But if, you know, I go over this video and you don't remember how to get it to full screen, boom, here's an example on that. So there's your help videos. Right here, your customized data field. Now this is pretty cool. So, you know, we have an overlay and a customized data section that kind of intertwine together. So when I come here, anything that appears in here will appear down here. And that's where I can put in my data and do all sorts of things. So my comments, I have like 2 right now. I can delete that. And see, now it's gone from here. I can put anything I want to organize my data. So to do that, you know, I could come here and say, you know what, I don't have a coverage section where I can put coverages. Oh, you know what I do, but I don't have, let's see, I don't have a blitz section. So, or what I like to say, number of rushers. So I'm going to hit new. I'm going to say number of rushers and click save. And then now each clip I can put 4, 3, 5, 7. I can sit here and put that data in. And then now, again, if I want to delete that or edit that, maybe I spelled rushers wrong, you can come here, edit that, click save. So that is your data field. Okay, and we'll get with overlays later because they intertwine together. Now open library in Windows. So you got to realize what I have right here is nothing more than a Windows folder. So I can actually open that. Okay, then I can see what I've done, and you can see a lot of these videos have .tempo files where there's data in it. Because if I send you this through Tempo and I only send you this, it's just one video clip. When I send this .tempo file, it has it cut up. If I've cut it up, it has data if I put data in. So for example, I'm going to move this over here just to show you. Okay, so now I come over here and use this next feature at the top, which is refresh library. Okay, so it's now refreshed it. If I changed anything in here, it'd refresh it. You can also right click and hit refresh as well. Okay, it is just one long video file when you play it from here. It's nothing more than a VLC type media player, Windows media player, but this is the beauty of Tempo. Okay, so now I'm going to come over here, find that file, which is right here. I'm going to put it back in the proper folder where it's right here. So now it's syncing back up to here. Exit out. I don't even have to refresh the folder. And it will ask you, because some of this data has stuff in there. So what this is doing is, in that data folder, if there's not the data it's looking for, or there's data in there that you don't have displayed, it'll ask you, do you want to add play type, series play, yard line? Some of the stuff I don't need. I'm just going to put no. I could click yes, but then it'd add a bunch of new columns. Now look at this. The same exact game I told you, but see, now it only goes to the first play. Now I can go find all these plays I want to. It's cut up, and that's what the .tempo file does. It timestamps your film and puts in the data, and the data is important for creating cut-ups and filtering stuff, which we'll get through later. Okay, so that is how you use the open files in Windows. You can copy a file from another area into this library. So if I wanted to download, this virtual reality clip, which is what this is, from my desktop, over to my Dropbox, it now did it, and it's boom. It was copied, it wasn't moved there. So that was the last one, and so now let's go over to options in your game plan folder, because there are some very big time options. You need to know about this, and we'll go over each one. So as I right click on a file, you can see in your game plan folder you could create a new folder. So I'll create one just to create one, and it appeared as new folder right here. I can now rename that folder and just call it folder 1. Okay, so there's an example of that, and we'll get to the play as play feature next. So I'm going to come back down here. You can rename your file, you can delete it, but remember, when you delete a file out of your game plan folder, it will permanently delete it from your computer. It'd be in the trash at that point. You'd have to go restore it. So understand, this is just like a computer. It's not Tempo only. And then refreshing your folders, as mentioned, will refresh. If you edit anything outside of Tempo, hit refresh and it will show up in here. So now to the folder. A cool feature with Tempo, and you can do it in your timeline and down here in the game plan folder, is drag and drop. So let's say I wanted to drag and drop all 3 of these Bronco plays into a new folder. So I'm going to do it right here. So you hold down left click, and you could actually hold down shift and do all that. So let's say I want to do Bucks and Bob Marley, all of these 2. I'm going to hold down shift, and now it's selected all 3 because I left click, hold down shift, left click again. So you can see now dragging 3 records into folder 1. So now I have all of these 6 plays now right here in the playlist folder. So I'm going to escape out of the game I was loaded. And then now when you right click a folder, we've been through new folder. Root folder just means one underneath the folder you're at. Rename. You can import a file now into the folder. That's just simply finding a file on your computer and coming here. But this play as playlist is one of our biggest features. So you right click that folder and click play as playlist. It's going to play every single file that is in here. So from here I can go from Bob Marley, the Broncos there, and go through all of these and put in data and etc. Now let's say that I have all like an end zone and a wide copy and things like that. So now I'm going to match that up, and I can sit here in my playlist and say, well, I want Bucks to be at the very beginning. So I can hold this down and it will now save that way when I open it. But right now what Tempo is doing, it's opening 6 different files at once. And so if I wanted to create all but one video with this, now this is where we go over to these options right here. So close file is the same thing as escape. Export video is very big. This is where we can take cut-ups and make it just one video, and it automatically creates a .tempo file. So for example, if I had 30 plays of a game and you're having to open 30 different files, I can bring it into Tempo, open it as a playlist like we did here, export it. By starting this process, you want to make sure you have the proper encoder. If you don't have a good graphic card, switch this to software. You're going to come here, press start. You're going to put it where you want to, put new cut up, new game, whatever you want to, click save, and it's going to be on its way. Okay, so as this is going, and I'm going to cancel this, you sit there and now it becomes one video file. It becomes one video file, and then now when you open it, it's already saved in Tempo with a .tempo file that will automatically have it cut up for those 30 plays of the game. Very, very, very cool feature, because then from there you put in your data and all those things. Now let's go back to, and I'll show you an example of that towards the end of this video with how my game folders are looking this year. Let's go back to video right here. Okay, so this has data in it. So when I want certain things to display while I'm watching, I can click this and it will display. Well, right now only play name comes. So if I click this next button, which you can set a duration where it appears, doesn't appear, but I can now choose the field. Let's add formation to it. Let's add the down and distance to it. Let's add some information. Now all these things appear, and if I want that to change, I simply come to the top and drag it and into the order I want. So now it's down, distance, formation, and then I can move it. So all these things are customizable for the way you want it to be. And then when I go full screen, which is in your output option over here, it's going to display at the top left. So pretty cool feature. Now the draw feature, this is your teleprompter. So as this is going and you want to sit here and draw, I can come over here and use any of these options and start drawing. And what's pretty cool, if you have a 2-monitor display, that you can be over here on your computer, your players are watching it on the second monitor, which is monitor 2. When I click output, it's now displaying on a TV, but what you're drawing is being seen in full screen. And then I can jump from this play to this play, and I'm sitting here doing all these things without having to escape full screen like you would have to do on Huddle or any type of online streaming service that you could be using. That's why there is laser pointer right here, because they can't see the mouse, but this is your laser right here. If you're just watching it right on your computer, you can change the colors and erase and do all these things with it. That is pretty cool. So that's your teleprompter, that's your drawing tools, and if you ever did something really significant with it and drawing, you're like, man, I want to keep this drawing for just whatever you'd want it to be, then you can save a screenshot, put it in here, it'll save it as a PNG, put it wherever you want to. Okay, so this is all the features except create plays, and this create plays is probably one of the biggest features we have. So I'm going to escape out of that. I'm going to go to a cut up of Georgia which hasn't been cut up, and it's just one big play. What I mean by that is that I can't go through all the different plays that are in here. It's opening it up, and it hasn't been time stamped yet that which play starts where. There's no data in it. So I come over here to create play. Okay, this feature is huge. So I'm going to say this is the beginning of the play right here, and I'm going to put new play. This also is number 1 on the keyboard. You can press the 1 button and it starts there. Then I can move it all the way to here. That's seen in the play. I press 2. So now when I exit the play, okay, I exit the play. This is the whole shebang right here, the whole video file. This is only that first play. Okay, so see how it instantly timestamped me there? It knew exactly it, you know, if we look at create plays, it says that exactly 1.535 seconds is the beginning of the play, 3.5 is the next play. So if I come here and I want to create that next play, we know we're already been at 35, which starts here. So that next play would start right here. Now I'm going to teach you the fast way of doing this. Is I'm going to press number 1 on the keyboard. You can see it starts another one. Then I'm going to start pressing right click, or excuse me, down, which skips 2 seconds to get to the end of this play. I'd say it's right there, control 2. Then I'm going to press down, there's 1, 2, 1, and there'd be 2. See how fast I did that? That is the key to creating this fast, using the number 1 button, the number 2 button, up and down, skipping around, which I have set to 2 seconds. You can set it to whatever you want. Now the last thing really to do to finish here is you're looking at your timestamps that you can see it starts at 1.5, 125, all this. But when you look here, this is the whole clip. Well, you don't need that anymore. So you can come over here, and if you'd messed up and needed to start over, you have the delete all function of your play. And then now here's this delete. So I'm going to hover over the first one, hit delete. Now exit play mode. Now when I open this, and let's say I escape out, every time I come to Georgia, because I now have created a .tempo file, here are all 4 of those plays right here. So now from here I can put in data. I can go, you know, this one's 1st and 10, and you know, now we know each one of these plays is trio, and the play name is Georgia. And so now you can see we're up there. Now we're putting in the data for when we want to filter and create cut-ups for anything like that. And then there would have been play 1, play 2, play 3, play 4. This is pretty cool. So when you get those all 22 tapes that someone sends you of a whole game, the whole offense, and you're sitting there and you know you're scrolling around, okay, that is something that you can now come into Tempo and timestamp, and you can timestamp the whole game, or you can timestamp just the plays you want, right? You don't have to timestamp a whole game and be like, hey, put that play there so when I come back. What's pretty cool, you could say you watched 10 minutes of it, you could timestamp it from that point, and next time you open the file, be like, all right, this is where I left off. There's so many different ways to use this in doing so. So, you know, that's a pretty major feature. The last feature we really haven't gone over is now the filtering section, which is my favorite to create cut-ups, because I'm going to go to another section where this is the whole game that's already been coded in with data, and I'm going to show you some features you can use with that. So, you know, some of the basic stuff with Tempo that before you start playing, you know, with it, know the controls, know that control and spacebar play. You know, what tempo here, what is some easy things about this that you can't even get? Just pressing left arrow, right arrow and holding down shift for smooth, fast forward, and rewind. That's something you don't get with any other media player that's offline unless you upload it to an online streaming service, and you save all that time by not doing it. This year I just watched everything 2 seconds after practice, because all we have to do is upload our film off the camera, and boom, we're watching it less than 2 minutes. There is no upload time, and when I say we, I mean us as a staff or any player that I want to come in here. So now the filtering. How do you filter this data? So if I want to filter data, you can ascend it however you want to, and the best and easiest way to do this is coming all the way down to the bottom and you hit show search panel. So now you can search anything you want. So say you just wanted to search every complete pass. I search complete, but you can see when I search complete, well, since complete is an incomplete, that comes up as well. So it's not the best when you want to get that specific for that reel. There is a way to do it, and I'm going to show it to you. That's more technical and very specific, and actually is very cool to create all your cut-ups with and find what you're looking for. But the search now is good for something that doesn't intercut with something else. So like Hank, here's 2 cut-ups of Hank. That's going to be there. Nothing else like trips. Nothing's going to match close to that. So how would I do a completion reel of just complete? Okay, so now you right-click. And since we're going to do pass results, best to right click this one. You can right click where you're trying to filter, and we go filter editor. Okay, from here there are so many variables I can do from it. So I'm going to do one starts with, I usually like to change this one to equal to. Okay, and this is something, play around with it. There's a lot of cool things. But see, now I go a pass result that's equal to complete, and I hit OK. Here's the reel I was looking for. Here's all our completions versus this was the LA team. So I can go through here, everything's going to be complete, and I can sit here, export that video, and save it as a completion reel. But let's say I want 2 different plays. I want to see the blast play, I want to see the vide. So now I come here, and now this gets more technical because you got to worry about and or, and if you're going to do 2, you have to make a group. So I come over here to plus, and right here to the right, that arrow, I need to add a group because I'm going to add a group of plays. So this one I don't need to, that's going to be the equals to, that's the and so now I need to change this to play name that is equal to, and then your plays actually pop up here. So we said we wanted divide, which is we get right there, and it's only showing plays that were completed because of the filter. If I exited this, there'd be more than 3, and that's what I like about that, it shows it to you. Now let's say I want to show another one. So I get here, that's still pass result. I actually did it twice, and I click the exit. So I go play name, and I go equal to, and then we said to go. Now see, it only wants me to do that one because I don't have this set to or. It's and, so it's only and to that. So now you press or, so that and or is very important. Now we added the blast, so when I hit apply, look at this. Only completions, only blast, only divide, and it's tagging in. You notice these are pull down menus, your code you put in. This is all your stuff. You can change it to whatever you want to. So whatever specific filter I want to have to create a cut up, man, I could show me all left hash, show me all inside zone, and then I get here, I have it filtered out because it's timestamped the whole deal. It matches your coding. Then I go to export video, and the next time I come to it, it's one video file and it saved the data as is. You're talking about an outstanding feature for Tempo, and definitely one of my favorites that you can't even get with the online streaming service. It doesn't work this fast, and what you can do is do it with all your game tapes. So I'm just going through one game. I could highlight all of them, and so this is where you exit out the filter. You could exit it out right here. You could edit here. You can also right click here, hit clear filter, and hit clear filter too, and see if I wanted to do the whole season, I could hold shift here, right click, open as one, and I'm going to show you that using my high school film real quick. So let's do that. Every game we've played this year, it's been brought directly to the computer. It was cut up, and we put in the data to it, and it's asking if we want to input something. So you can see right here, there's data, there's all sorts of data, and it's cut up to where, hey, this place here, boom, get me here. Hey, show me play 46, boom, we're here in 1080 HD, and you can notice there's no loading, there's no internet. You can see how fast this is. So okay, if you got all these cut up, how do you get into the year cut up? Say I want to watch every time we ran Zorro, which is zone to the right. I now hold down shift, I highlight over here, I right click, open as one, okay, hit the no right here. This is every game, and you can see that's over 344 something plays right here. every game, every play. So now when I come over here to show search panel and I hit Zorro, there it is. Every Zorro pops up. We've run it 44 times. So I can go from our scrimmage to the time we ran it in Arkansas to the time we ran it here away, and go through it right there. And then, you know, if you want to just watch your cut-ups that way, that's fine. But if, say, you don't want to go through that process again, you export it, and there's your 2020 Zorro film. Here's one other thing I want to throw in here too. You know, here's all the Zorros, but let's say that you want this play in your cut-up before you export it to be your best play. You can hold down left click in the timeline and rearrange the order of whichever videos you want to show up first. So now a play that is going in progressional order from the start of the year to the end of the year, because the way you did in your playlist, now all of a sudden if I want this play from Arkansas to be one of the top plays, I move it up here and boom, now it's the first play when I open this cut up is this one. I export it, it's going to export it in this cut up. So that's a very important feature to know, because you could put together all of your end zone and sideline copies together, and to intercut it, all you would do was take the end zone and put it right behind play one of the sideline, and then you just mix and match it to the way you want it, whether it's an intercut or if it's just making a cut up the way you want it to appear for a clinic or anything like that. So there's so many different ways to just take your film now with tempo and actually cut it up, watch it, rewind it, put in data, and do so many things with it, filter out what you want to see. And if you got any questions about tempo, send it in, because this is truly a great tool for any coach, especially you young coaches that get all this film and you're just sitting there watching it. Now go back and say, all right, I'm going to watch this film and I'm going to mark up every time it was cover 3. Boom, you have it. Now I want to get boom to play 22. Hey, I'm going to export every time they were in trips right, and you make these cut-ups of it. This is what tempo's for. And don't forget the basic feature that I fell in love with immediately. I can finally rewind it. And, you know, things we haven't mentioned is you can use the Xbox controllers. You can use a Cowboy remote with it as well. And the thing I love about tempo most that I'll leave you with, it's not finished. It's always evolving. We as a staff continue to come up with things that you need as coach. We take in your advice, your input, and we're always changing to make this the best product it can be. And this was the ultimate guide to the Tempo video player.